Have you ever thought about leaving everything and everyone you know to follow your dreams? Well, Mother Teresa left her mother and sister at age 18 to become a missionary and never saw either of them again. Mother Teresa is the greatest missionary who ever walked the earth. Mother Teresa has been a role model of mine ever since I was a small child. She devoted her life to help the poor of the world. She made such an impact on our world that she won the 1979 Nobel Peace Prize. Today, I will be sharing her stories about her life, the hardships she pushed through, and all the things she accomplished. I want to start by telling you a story about her life. First, I will tell you about Mother Teresa's life. According to bibliography.com, Mother Teresa was born on August 26, 1910 in Skopje, Macedonia. Her birth name was Agnes Gonhaxa Buhajina, born into a Roman Catholic family with two of her siblings. Her father tragically passed away when Agnes was only 8 years old. With the sudden passing of her father and her mother being unemployed, Agnes and her family became very deep in poverty. Although being very poor, her mother was still very active in the church, which made her kids very involved also. At the age of 18, Agnes decided to join the missionary called Sisters of Laredo. The missionary was out of India, so she had to move away from her family to follow her dreams. She was sent to Ireland to learn English because India was ruled by the British at the time. According to learningtogive.com, she changed her name to Sister Mary Teresa at the age of 19. She became a school teacher for the wealthy children in 1931. She was sent to Calcutta to teach geography at St. Mary's High School, which was the middle class. In 1939, Sister Teresa took her final vows to the Sister of Laredo. In 1946, she was suspected of having tuberculosis and was sent to Daharinjing to rest. It was there that Sister Teresa decided to devote her life to the poor. Next, I'm going to tell you about the hardships that she faced helping the poor. When Mother Teresa returned to Calcutta, she was living on the streets and just as poor as the people she had long helped. At the time, the only help she could offer was giving the children of the streets school lessons. So every day the children would gather around her and then they would teach them. It was at this time that she was given the name Mother Teresa, according to learningtogive.com. Mother Teresa officially established Missionaries of Charity in 1950 with 12 members. Women who joined the missionary were required to take a vow of poverty, chastity, obedience, and a wholehearted service to the poorest of poor. Missionaries of Charity lasted until her death in 1997, according to U.S. News. Lastly, I'm going to tell you about the successes that Mother Teresa had in her life. Even though she had a very rough childhood and midlife, Mother Teresa still accomplished a lot in her 87 years on earth. At the age of 61, she was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for her work with the poor, her display of Christian charity, and her efforts of peace, according to thefamouspeople.com. Even after her death, her missionary is still going, with its last census in 2012, having 4,500 sisters and being active in over 133 countries, according to newtonic.com. When she was 42, she opened a home for the dying to let poor people die with dignity, which still stands today. These are just some things that Mother Teresa accomplished. She was a truly standout woman, and not only in her accomplishments, but also with just who she was. As a small child, my mother had a picture of Mother Teresa hanging in our hallway, and I would always ask why she had it and who she was. My mother was very strong in her faith, and she used to explain to me how she looked up to her and tried her best to help people too. As I grew older, I understood more what she meant, and now she's one of my biggest role models and someone I always have aspired to be. In conclusion, I've told you about Mother Teresa's life, the hardships that she's faced, and the things that she's accomplished. And that's the end of my speech. Mother Teresa was and still is the greatest missionary to ever walk the earth, and has majorly affected the people inside and out of the Christian faith. Next time you see a homeless person or someone struggling, think of how Mother Teresa devoted her life to helping them and what you can do to help. That's the end of my speech. I will now open the floor for questions.
Okay, so have you ever volunteered for the homeless?
So she asked if I've ever volunteered for the homeless. I volunteered for the Salvation Army for about 8 years, and I did some volunteer work in Houston handing out food to the poor as well. Are there any other questions?
How old was Mother Teresa when she died?
So she asked me how old Mother Teresa was when she passed away. Mother Teresa was 87 when she passed away. And that concludes my speech.